Before we get into today's episode, I want to tell you guys about a few different jobs that are live right now over on Of the West. First up, with Beef Northwest Feeders, they're hiring a cattle procurement specialist. It's based out of North Powder, Oregon. This role is going to sit at the intersection of procurement and accounting. You're going to be handling daily cattle invoice payments, freight reconciliation, lot invoicing, month-end account balancing. They're also looking for someone willing to cross-train on transportation scheduling and logistics, so there's really room to grow into a broader role over time. They do prefer agree into accounting, ag business, or finance, and at least 2 years of experience in AP or agricultural finance. Next up, we've got Breeder. They're hiring an account manager. Breeder is an ag tech company, and they connect ranchers, feed yards, packers, and retailers through a platform that tracks individual cattle from genetics all the way through carcass quality. This is a remote role with travel, and the territory covers Texas Panhandle, Southwest Kansas, Western Oklahoma, and Southeast Colorado. You're going to be implementing that software with new customers, managing those relationships long-term, and helping producers get real value out of the data that they're collecting. They want somebody that has direct cattle industry experience. Feed yard background is preferred, and this role does require about 50% travel. You also do have to live in either the Texas Panhandle, Southwest Kansas, Western Oklahoma, or Southeast Colorado. Then we have 2 openings down in Stephenville and Decatur. The first is BCR Brands. They're hiring a sales assistant over in Stephenville. BCR, they've got a few different brands in the Western and lifestyle space: Horn Knot, Breakaway, Oh My Stars Apparel. They also have a custom apparel division called Brand Cowboy. This role is going to support the sales team with order entry, customer communication, and some warehouse work. It is full-time or part-time, and they say they see this as a starting point for somebody who really wants to grow within the company. So if you're looking for an entry-level role, that is the perfect job for you. And then over in Decatur, NRS, they are looking for an IT desktop support technician. This is a full-time role. You're going to maintain hardware and software across multiple company locations, responding to service requests, supporting remote sites. It does require about 30% travel between their various locations. They're looking for somebody who has at least 5 years of desktop support experience and 5 years of Windows support. Now, all 4 of those jobs and a ton more are live right now over on Of the West. So if any of those spark your interest, the link is in the show notes. And if it's not the right fit for you, but you know of somebody who would be perfect, please send it their way, because that's what friends do. Now, let's get into today's episode. Martin Luther King Jr., I think he was the one that said faith is taking the first step even when you can't see the whole staircase.
Welcome to Leaders of the West, a podcast for innovators and changemakers. I'm your host, Jessie Jarvis, the founder of the West, and I'm sitting down with agriculturalists, entrepreneurs, executives, and everyone in between with the goal of digging into the strategies, mindsets, and lessons that have been crucial to the success of ag and Western. Whether you're carrying on the next generation of your family's operation, starting something from scratch, or determined to climb up the leadership ladder, we're going to inspire you to continue to dream big, growing not just you, but the future of agriculture and Western as a whole. Let's go.
Okay, welcome back to a brand new episode of Leaders of the West. I am your host, Jessie Jarvis. We are now, 3 weeks into the month of June. So summer is definitely in full swing, especially for those of you who get out of school so early, which I am envious of those of you who have literally been out of school now for a month. We are only in week 2 of summer vacation. The jury is out on whether or not it is successful. I mean, I feel like we're still kind of getting into our rhythm and our groove. We are coaching t-ball. We have junior rodeos, so we're trying to fit in all the practices for that. We've got swimming lessons. As you can imagine, we still have businesses to run. Somehow, even though my kids have all the activities and all the chores, they're still bored. I don't understand how this works, but here we are. But I wanted to talk about something that I wrote this down, and as crazy as this year has been, I never got a chance to sit down and actually record this into more of a podcast. So it's been months ago now, but I had to drive to town for a couple of appointments. And one of the things about our area, which this would have been in the winter, so it is not applicable now, but we do get kind of foggy, especially in the mornings. And part of that is because we don't live super far from the Snake River. So it's very common for us to wake up in the morning and we have fog off of the river. And usually it recedes within an hour or so of us waking up. It's not something that is super common just because we do live in like the banana belt of Idaho, but we do get fog every once in a while. But there's another kind of fog that's really common in our area, and that's an inversion. And we live about 60, 70 miles from the Boise Valley, and it is very common for us to get that type of inversion as well. Now, in Boise, it will literally stay for weeks on end. Typically, we just get it in the morning, and it will, I'm going to say, melt off by 11 or 12, and it's not really that big of a deal for us. But there for a while over this winter, there were a couple of weeks where we literally hadn't seen the sun in 3 dang days. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. And I was very ready for sunshine and warm weather and obviously the vitamin D that I'm very thankful for now. And anytime this summer that I complain about, oh my gosh, it's so hot, I'm going to think back about how miserable I was when I hadn't seen the sun in 2 weeks and I was living in a fog bank. So anyways, all of that to say, I was driving to town for my appointments, and we do kind of live, again, like I said, in the bottom of a basin, right where the Snake River is. So in order to go anywhere west or east of us, we do have to get up on top of like a mesa, if you will. We'll call it that. And it got really, really foggy. And I'm not somebody who overly enjoys driving in the winter. I do hate driving in the fog, though. Part of it is because I am a little claustrophobic and I want to be able to see what's out in front of me. And obviously, when it's foggy, that is the very opposite of what you get. But as I'm driving through that fog, it gave me a lot of perspective about life. Oftentimes, when we are in some kind of fog, what is the next thing that we want to do? We want to stop. We want to wait until things become more clear, which is a very logical next step. Like, why would you want to keep moving forward when you don't know that you're going to run into something? You might as well stop and wait it out for things to clear. But if I were to stop and just wait for that fog to clear, who knows how long I could be stuck on the road? I could be there for 10 minutes and it may let up. I could be there all day long. I literally might be there for 3 weeks, which at that point, why wouldn't I just continue to move forward to get out of the situation that I'm in? The other thing that I noticed is obviously, as I'm driving through this fog, there are areas where I can see 30, maybe 40 feet in front of me. And then I get to a really dense area of fog where I can hardly see the nose of my own vehicle. And you never necessarily know what's coming in those situations, but the only way that you can ever get out of that fog is truly by moving forward. So even when you can't see the sky or you feel like you can't see what's coming in front of you, the only way that I made it out of that fog is because I kept moving forward. If I stay in the same spot, I'm obviously not going to get any clearer of a view, but by going an inch at a time, a foot at a time, 50 feet at a time, 100 feet at a time, a quarter of a mile at a time, I slowly uncover more of what's in front of me, which is how I'm able to get where it is that I need to go. I feel like it's very common for people to get paralyzed by the fear of not being able to see what's in front of them. Not literally, but figuratively speaking. I remember when we first launched Of the West, I had a 2-month-old business and a 1-month-old baby. I had just hired an employee because I already couldn't keep up with things, and people weren't using the site. I thought they would use it. I was so sure that people would just be knocking down the door to get in, but initially they didn't. Granted, I was in a life fog because I had taken on a lot, but I genuinely didn't know what to do. I could not see that path forward. I didn't know if I should pivot. I didn't know if I should quit. I didn't know if I should just keep doing what I was doing and praying that it worked. I couldn't go forward. I couldn't go backwards. Sideways wasn't an option. I get it. I have absolutely been there. But I knew I had to do something because standing still was not going to give me any answers. The only way to ever find the answer is to move forward. It's never going to find you. You are going to be the one that is going to find the answer. I know that you are already scared and you already don't know what to do. And who in the hell wants to move forward into something unknown when you're already terrified? None of us do. That is a very unnatural thing. But this is why buffalo run toward the storm instead of running away from it. And that's not folklore or some motivational poster nonsense. That is actual animal behavior. Cattle, when they sense a storm coming, will turn and run away from it, which makes sense. You're going to get away from the danger. But here's the problem. Storms move faster than animals do. So they end up running alongside the storm, in the storm for miles and miles, getting pounded the entire time. But buffalo, they instinctively turn and run straight into the storm. They face it head on. And because they do, they get through it faster. They minimize their time in that pain. And they are proof behind that idea that the fastest way to get through something is to face it head on. and move through it with momentum. Now, just like the weather, there are different kinds of fog that we experience in life. I'll call this one river fog. This is the kind that comes and goes. This is the temporary stuff, that short-term uncertainty. Maybe that is a tough week or a bad month, a setback that feels big in the moment, but it's going to pass. River fog is something like it does here in the banana belt of Idaho. It shows up in the morning and it is gone within an hour or two. It comes and goes. It's easier to reorient yourself because the sun is going to shine every single day. And what is in front of you becomes clear again. You just have to continue to keep moving until it does. Then there's inversion fog, fog number 2. This is the kind that really settles in. So this is something like long-term uncertainty, career transitions, health struggles, business plateaus, rough patches in your relationship. This feels more like those whiteout conditions where you can't see up, down, forward, backward. You literally feel like you are in a tailspin. That is the kind of fog that is going to test you. The kind that is really going to make you feel like you need to pull over and give up. And it is the kind that naturally is going to make you question, is there even a road ahead? Because again, whiteout conditions, you don't know up, down, side to side, you know nothing. But here's the thing about both of those types of situations or those types of fog. The only way out is through. Martin Luther King Jr., I think he was the one that said faith is taking the first step even when you can't see the whole staircase. That is really what moving through fog requires. Faith. And not blind faith, but the kind of faith that says, I don't know what's ahead, but I know standing still won't get me there. And I know what you guys are probably thinking, but Jessie, what if I'm moving in the wrong direction? What if I'm heading towards a cliff? Shouldn't I pump the brakes? Here's the thing. You'll know. Not immediately, but you will know because movement is what gives you information that standing still is never going to provide you. And if you realize you're going the wrong way, you course correct. You flip a U-ey. You make that 5-point turnaround that they taught us in driver's ed. But at least you're moving. At least you're learning. You are going somewhere instead of absolutely nowhere. So what exactly does that look like in practice, though? Always take the right next step, even when you can't see the whole path. You do not need to see the entire road. You just need to see the next 10 feet. Then the next 10 feet after that. Then the next. And that's how you make it through. You also have to have faith that clarity is going to come from movement, not from waiting. Answers rarely, if ever, show up when you're standing still. They show up when you are in motion, when you're trying things, when you're testing, when you're learning. Movement is really what creates clarity. Now, I do want to add, though, sometimes, yes, you should sit with an idea or a thought or thoughts before taking action because that is going to provide clarity. But that is not a paralyzed fear that you're not going anywhere until the answer comes to you. You are staying still long enough to really think through that information to know which way you need to go to take that momentum. The other thing that I will also add to this is it's normal to find yourself in a fog bank. Accept that some of these seasons in life are going to happen, right? It happens to all of us. You are not doing anything wrong. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're just in the fog. And the fog lifts. Obviously, today is a very bright and sunshiny June day for me. I am not stuck in a perpetual fog like I was back in February on my way to those appointments when I couldn't see 10 feet in front of me, right? The sun is always going to shine and that fog is always going to lift. But you have to continue to keep moving through it. So you guys, the next time that you find yourself in a fog, whether it is a river fog that will clear in an hour or that inversion that feels like it's never going to lift, please just remember stopping is not going to make it go away. It's only going to keep you stuck longer. The sun is still there. The road is still there. Your destination is still there. You just have to keep moving forward to find it. One step at a time, one foot at a time, one decision at a time. Because the only true way out of that fog is if you act like that buffalo and move through it intentionally and with forward momentum. I know that that is so much easier said than done, you guys. And if you are somebody who is in a very foggy season of life, I am thinking of you. I am with you. And I want to remind you that we are all there at one point or another. It could be something that is as simple as, oh, it's just a bad week or a bad month. And it could be something that feels like it is a bad year or that nothing in life is going your way. And I have been there too. I really have. I don't know a single soul who has not been there at one point or another. And I'm also very aware that while I might have a bright, sunshiny time of life right now, that is not always going to be the case, right? There is always fog in front of us. And I think that having that mindset is also very important in keeping a positive perspective on that. So I hope you guys have an incredible week. I also hope that if you are a job seeker, you have gone and checked out those jobs over on the site. As I mentioned in the beginning of the show, we have gotten so many new great jobs lately. And it truly doesn't matter what sector of the industry that you are interested in, where you live across the US, like we literally have it all. I get chills every time I get on the site and look at the variety of jobs, especially knowing I remember back when I was that woman with a 2-month-old business and a 1-month-old baby sitting there looking at a website that was completely blank, thinking, why are people not coming? And again, that is proof that the fog will always lift. So with that, you guys, I hope you have an incredible week and we will catch you back here with a brand new episode next week.
If you loved this episode, do us a favor and share it with someone else who might find just as much value in it as you did. We're on a mission to continue to grow and strengthen the future of agriculture and Western industries, and you spreading the word helps us make more of a positive impact. It also makes a big difference when you take a minute to go rate and review the show. We can't thank you enough for listening, for sharing, and for loving Ag and Western as much as we do. We'll see you back here for our next episode.